Welcome to my channel. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another segment of Missing Kids Found or Lost, and ready to discuss the continuing case of Rachel Charles, the little girl who went missing in Portugal in 1990. So, where we left off last time, way back before the holidays, was that after little Rachel Charles, 9-year-old Rachel Charles, went missing in November of 1990, Mick Cook was taken in for questioning, and probably because of his car description and what a witness said, he was taken into custody subsequently and then finally arrested for what happened to Rachel Charles. However, back at Balinabio, the people who knew Mick Cook slightly better were dubious, not sure. They didn't have 100% faith in the arrest of Mick Cook, and this is all because what happened was that the witness claimed he saw little Rachel getting into a car that matched the description of Mick Cook's red sports car. And so the people of Balinabio also began to suspect Ray Charles, Rachel's stepfather, because of the tense relationship that he had had with his stepdaughter. And so not only did they suspect Ray Charles of having a hand in it one way or another, they also were very down on the police and how they were going about investigating this missing child case and this case altogether. Now, please be very careful that you understand my exact meaning. I'm not saying that the police did a dubious job or a crap job. I'm not saying that. The people of Balinabio did not have 100% faith in their police department, and that is recorded history. I'm not making it up. I'm just telling you that has to be presented to you as a fact in order for you to understand further the complicated context of this missing child's case. And I prefer to call her missing rather than murdered. So, yes, she was eventually found, transpired. But let's just call her, for the time being, this missing child case, okay? Once Rachel Charles went missing, she got into that car and went missing that afternoon in November of 1990. What caused people to further suspect Ray Charles was that he retreated into his private home while Carol Rachel's mother went actively about trying to find out what happened to her child and going to her own friends for comfort. It seemed as though Ray Charles was not, he must have been upset, but he was not altogether that interested in finding out anything further regarding his stepchild. So this next part that I'm going to discuss is even stranger. So while Carol was going about trying to find some comfort from her friends and trying to do what was expected of her, actually Carol went to see a medium who also wanted the police and investigators to search 20 miles inland from the coast, very, very far away from where Rachel was actually eventually found. And so that was one thing. So while she was going about trying to gather up some reinforcement and security from her close-knit group of friends, Ray, in fact, on the other hand, not only did he take to drinking heavily, and eventually he would pass away of cancer of the liver, he also disappeared. He disappeared, guys, and he disappeared for a total of 4 hours throughout that night, in the early hours of the Wednesday morning. And so I think what happened was Rachel vanished on the Monday, and Ray, disappeared after midnight on Wednesday morning. And so he went off on his own and returned with scratches all over his legs. And it was very, very strange, guys. And so, of course, this was not typical behavior for Ray. Obviously, he was undergoing some sort of inner turmoil. I don't know if it had anything directly to do with Rachel, or if it was something more. Charles had been out investigating and hunting and searching a little on his own, he eventually gave up the search, and he abandoned it just as the police investigators closed in on the area where Rachel's shoes and bag were eventually found. And I believe that would have been that afternoon, or I believe it would have been on the daytime hours of Wednesday afternoon. And so it was almost as though Ray Charles knew what they were about to find and did not want to be anywhere near there when that happened. But of course, this is just the article, the author of this article's insight. We don't know what Ray Charles was actually thinking or intending at that point. We don't know. We just know that his behavior was strange. And for what it's worth, I know, as I've said before, a criminal, if it were a criminal, if he indeed were a criminal, we really cannot judge what behavior is typical or atypical or abnormal. We don't know, because criminals do not follow, normal standards of social behaviors. They don't, they act out of the ordinary. They act on what could be interpreted as impulsive, evil, good, benign. They don't have a set course of action that they follow like many other people do. What I'm trying to say is, even though Ray's behaviors may have been suspicious, we don't know what happened. I'm not saying that Ray Charles took part in the abduction and consequential results that arose from this case. So you know where I'm going with this. I have no idea what part, if any, that he might have played in this crime. So after he was noticed moving about the area near where Rachel's shoes and bag were found, and then he abandoned the search, that was when people began to notice and really suspect him even further, and they began to talk about him. And so that set many sirens off in people's minds. Of course, as I discussed earlier, it was apparent that Rachel was actually on her way to a horse riding lesson close by, near where the school bus had dropped her off. And so that was probably why Ray decided to search that area. So, it was just a matter of consequence that her things were found close by. So, you know where I'm going with this. It might have just been a pure coincidence, because, of course, that is where little Rachel was headed when she was last seen alive. So it was on the Thursday that little Rachel's remains were found, and the speculation became very escalated. People were even more curious and suspicious about Ray's actions and behaviors. Another very strange incident was that Ray was actually overheard telling people that Rachel was happier now after she was found than and that she was actually in a better place. And then he began to say that he had seen her on Tuesday night after she vanished in a vision. And that very well may be. I don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe in these sorts of spiritual communications that passed away loved ones can often try to get through when they have gone over onto the other side. And so he was actually trying to say that she was trying to communicate with him. And and he also told people, and this is probably, it could be all true, guys. He also told people that that was at the point where he realized that she was no longer alive or around. So I could very well believe that. And I could very well see how that might have attracted much more suspicion on his part. So what I'm reading is that several of the men that were involved in this dream scenario and that he told, they went to check out Ray's car. Now, Ray also had a red sports car with yellow foreign plates, just like the car that stopped Rachel and gave her a lift. And so what did they find inside that car? Well, they found hair, they found rope, and they found a blanket. Okay, no, I'm wrong about the hair. They found rope and a blanket that were covered in pine needles. Now, the real question is, did somebody put it there, or did Ray take part in the criminal scenarios surrounding his stepdaughter Rachel? We don't know. I don't know, and I'm not saying that he did. One evening at Valinavio, when he was deeply inebriated, a salesman by the name of Mike Cunningham was engrossed in conversation with Ray while he was drinking, and overheard him actually admit what sounded very much like a confession. Now, that's not me saying it. That is Mike Cunningham saying it. And so, according to Cunningham, Ray was rambling almost incoherently. He was pretty upset, guys. Whatever part he may or may not have had in this abduction, he was pretty upset. And so he was saying that Rachel was his little girl, his little darling, and that she died on Tuesday night, and she came to him in a dream and said, "Daddy, I love you." So you might be asking, like I am, what is this all about? Well, we will never know. Ray told Mike that he answered Rachel in the dream and told her, "Don't worry, darling. We will be dancing together with the angels 12 months from now." And if that isn't as eerie and as strange as it gets, there's even more, guys. And Cunningham said that at that point, Ray paused in the middle of his drunken speech, and he looked down at his feet. He was very melodramatic about everything that was going on, and he took a big breath inwards and said, "Her time was up. Her time was up, and she had to go, and I put her down." But did Ray actually say this to the police? Did he actually go there and offer this up as evidence? No. And so, guys, what eventually transpired from all of this was that Ray was never arrested for the crime that occurred to his stepdaughter, Rachel. In fact, he passed away a year later from cancer of the liver, or was it the kidney? I'll have to double check on that. But he obviously knew his time was very limited, and he was obviously very, very distraught about that. And so what I'm saying is that I don't know if he had anything to do with what happened to Rachel. I really don't know, because to this day, it's not clear at all what happened to her or who took part in that crime. So it is strange that he would have that dream, but because of what he was going through in his mind, and he was thinking about his limited time, it doesn't mean that he took part in her abduction and murder. It doesn't mean that. It just meant that he would probably be with her on the other side within a year's time, and that's the truth. He knew he was going to be going. I don't want this to drag on, but he just knew. And so that was probably what caused people to talk, because they probably didn't have any idea of it at the time. You know what I'm saying? But it caused many people to suspect them. And so I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to close off the vlog, because I think we've discussed enough. This was quite sad. This was quite sad, especially, them having found her the next day under a pine tree, not far from the beach. And so, it's quite despairing to think that Carol, the girl's mother, lost not only her child, but her husband, Ray, a year later. It's quite sad to me. So I hope that you have come to understand the circumstances surrounding Rachel and her disappearance a little bit better. We're most certainly not quite done with this case yet, But I just want to, before I completely close off, I want to say one more thing. You know, I'm sorry that many people are, or maybe some people, have been accusing me or thinking it could be the language barriers, or sometimes the subtitles do not show up clearly. And for that, I apologize. I'm trying to go over all of my videos, and I don't understand why some of them are made available in. Let me start that again. I don't understand why the subtitles are made available in some vlogs and not in others. So I'm trying to fix that. But really, I'm not suggesting that police did a shoddy job. I'm quoting and reading to you. I'm giving you context. The context that is real and live at the time of this crime. I'm not saying that this is my opinion and therefore it happened that way or it didn't happen that way. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying that this is part of the context. And also, I wanted to apologize for giving people the wrong idea about tourism in Portugal or in any other part of the world for that matter. It's not wrong for people to see opportunities in tourism and want to make good money off of it. I think it's commendable, and it's a great way to bolster any country's economy and status. It's a great way to bolster friendships between one country and other countries. I'm not saying that it's wrong to make money off of tourism. No, I'm not. As a matter of fact, I would say that if there would be anybody who may or may not be opposed to tourism in their cities or countries, it would be the local people, right? Because they're the ones who will probably be bombarded with crime and harassment and situations like this. I'm not saying that tourism was a direct cause of what happened to Rachel. I'm just giving you the context. I don't know what happened to Rachel. I know why she passed away. She was strangled, but I don't know the circumstances surrounding it. I don't know about any hostilities or any criminal connections. I know that there were criminals in that area. Yes, I'm not suggesting that I know for sure they were at the bottom of this, but when you look at Maddie McCann and Renee and Joanna, you're gonna wonder what the heck was going on there. Well, guys, that's it for today. I hope that you've enjoyed this little review. Stay tuned for more on Little Rachel Charles. And please, if you want to keep updated with these reviews, don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.